Hello, everybody. I will start streaming now. Good day, everyone. I'm Alec Grandison, and I am streaming the development of a trading card game. It's a game that will have a unique mechanic, and in time you'll learn of that mechanic very soon. I'm building it to be a small game that I can release on Steam. I hope you can join me in the journey as I code it from scratch. So off stream I did a lot of work. So let me show you what I accomplished. So I have completed the texture atlas renderer. And let me show it to you. There it is. So, excuse me. Let me load it up. So as you can see, it's one texture. But now, there's an error here I need to fix. But now I'm able to render each part of the texture separately. I did a few code changes. I did a lot of refactoring of some code. If we take a look at the entity code, this used to be a global scope. I made it object scope, and in the entity I added additional fields, so these fields were not there before. So these two additional fields allows us to render parts of the texture instead of the entire texture. And all I have to do, I have to specify what parts I want to render, and in the function call I'm doing here, so the UV offset, the UV size, I calculate it here. So how do I get it? So I'm using the free texture packer. It packs the texture and outputs a JSON. So if I show that to you, let me find that. So the texture is a PNG and the format is in JSON. And what I did, I used my own parser generator. Algodal parser generator. It's a commercial parser generator. Let me show it to you. Currently I have hid it from itch because I'm having some issues with itch. So if you search for it, you won't find it. Only people who already purchase it will be able to see it. So I have to use my developer account on itch. So as you can see, it's restricted. And the reason why I did that is because right now I'm having issues with itch. People have purchased the tool and I am not able to cash out the money. So if anyone ever experienced this, you can drop a comment telling me how you resolve this issue. I have messaged itch support and I have not gotten any feedback from them as yet. But anyways, to show you my commercial parser generator, here it is. So you can also check it out on my website. I'll find it for you. But the documentation is extremely outdated. It's version 2 and the parser generator is at should be in the name. It's at version 4.10. So the documentation is extremely outdated. Once I get many things sorted out and organized, I will eventually get some time to update the documentation. And yeah, so it took me a while to figure out how to use it, but use the API. So basically you put in the parser source. The parser source is written in a custom language. Let me show you an example. So for the JSON parser, where I parse the JSON, I used the sample parser from my parser generator. So there's one for JSON. And yeah, this is the source code. So you define the tokens, you define the syntax, and then some of the tokens you assign to be tokenizers. A tokenizer can be just a literal string, which is just a string parsing itself. and then you have the entry point where the main parser starts, and the objects are the parsed objects that are saved in the abstract syntax tree. So in this type of parser generator, you don't need to define the syntax tree. You just list out what you want to be in a syntax tree, and it handles everything for you. And yeah, everything is defined as an action, and you have special functions like one-off, parse one of these characters. First is if you have options, so it's a parse this or parse this. What first does is that the first one that successfully parse, it returns with that. If the first was not there, it will parse all of it, regardless if it finds anything, and then check which one is the most appropriate one. So let's say you have two things that parse together, but one parses more text, it will go with the one that parses more text. But if it's not possible for all your options to parse the same thing, the first command will make it choose the first one that successfully parses. So once you use this, it generates the parser in the form of C code. Let me show you an example. I think this is an example. So these code, the VM and the header are common code. All parsers use it. That is generated by this parser generator. But the program is specific to the parser code. So it generates a unique program for each parser. And in the API, I have to interact with the API in order to use the parser generator. And an example of that is here. Where I wrote this function. So this is where it's interacting. So I include the header file generated by the parser generator, and these are functions from the parser generator. So I'm getting the node value, and if the node value is a quoted string, I'm removing the quotes. And making literal is if the string value had any escape values, it removes them for you, it resolves them for you. And you have to provide it with the buffer, and it pulls the string from the node. So that's, yeah, and more example, traversing the node tree, the abstract syntax tree, uses these functions. So I get the child node by key of node. So it looks in the abstract tree for a node with the key value member, and it returns it. And then from there I search again. So these functions allows you to traverse the abstract syntax tree. So this is the API of the generated parser. So I've done that, and it's working perfectly fine. I have started, so as you can see, I go back here, I've completed everything. It's working perfectly fine. I'm parsing the JSON file, and I'm rendering each specific region. So this function parses it and put it in this structure that I created, the Atlas texture region, and that is in asset. So basically it pulls the information from here, parsing it. I parse it, I use the API to extract the information from the abstract syntax tree and save it in this structure. So the offset X for each region, the width of each region. And then I save the list of it here, and I save the texture, the overall texture here. And then when I'm ready to render, I have the function in which I pull the asset, and from the asset I can get the atlas. From the atlas I can get the information for the specific region that I want, and from that I can calculate the UV offset, which should be from 0 to 1, the UV size. And once I calculate that, let me see here. And once I calculate that, I pass it to the entity function, which now uses an object, and I batch it. And once I batch it, I draw it. Yeah, so that's that. Now I started working on the SDF renderer. So I created the BMP fonts from TrueTypes. So what I did was I went to Google Fonts and I downloaded some fonts from Google. So I did Molish Light, Noto Sans, and several others to support several different languages. And once I downloaded them, I uploaded them to Hyro. Hyro is a libgdx tool, free to use. Should have a link somewhere. Here it is. So you can go to libgdx dev tools and find a bunch of free tools that you can use. They even have their own texture packer, and there's actually a different version to this that you can get on GitHub, which is actually more advanced and more better. But I prefer this one because I think for this one, I just think this one that I found on the internet is far better. I like it more, so it's better for me. But for libgdx, I love their Hyro bitmap packer. I think it's one of the best bitmap font packaging tools out there. So this is what I use, and here I'm generating fonts for Korean text. So I loaded in the font, so Nato-san, I use 32-bit, I use a Java, because the Java rendering allows me to use distant field. So I use sign distant field, and I use a page width of 1024 for all of them, but for the height I change it to reduce as much blank space as possible. So if I move this to 64, it uses 3 pages now, but I want a single page, so I use the smallest height that gives me a single page. So I did that, and I generated the bitmap fonts for all of them, and it should be, gonna find it, which is here. So all of these are the bitmap fonts along with the font map. So the font map is a custom font map from the Hyro font map tool, and I think the Angel Code font map also use the same, and it gives information like the font that they use and the file for the font and the character information and so on. So this is where I've reached. So what I'm doing here is that I've merged them into an atlas, and I'm building a parser for this file type, and I've already completed the parser. So let me show you the atlas first. I was looking at it. So for the fonts, I've combined all the fonts. So there's the silhouette text. I combine all the images into one huge texture, and now I've written a parser for these. So here's the parser. So here it is, BMP parser. I wrote the parser, I plug it in, and I basically just hit generate, and it generates the parser code. And let me show you the parser code. Here is this, and so basically I created tokens for the horizontal space, the characters. This parses any character. For string, for whole numbers, number, the alpha of the alpha, name, new line, and list. And then for tokenizers, I use these strings: horizontal line, new line, string, number, name, and list. For name, I give it a priority of -10. What that means, this and this will both parse, but they won't clash because this has a priority of -10. So if both parse, it will go with this instead of this. And then I create the syntax, which is a part of the abstract syntax tree. So value, key pairs, the info line, the command line, and so on and so forth. And the object line is any one of these first parse. And then the font file parses 0 or more of this, and that becomes the entry point, and these goes in the abstract syntax tree. And I've generated a sample parser here, and I've tested it and it's working. So it tokenizes everything. As you can see, the tokenizing is happening right now, and then it's now building the abstract syntax tree. It's a lot. So even though it was moving so slow, it's not parsing that slow. It's actually the printing of it is slow. The parsing actually took 459 milliseconds, but it was actually, when I tested it yesterday, it was going at like 200 milliseconds. And let me output this. So that you can see the whole thing. And let me show it to you. So as you can see, parsing using program defined in C code. Tokenization, so it tokenizes everything. So as you can see, this is the literal text that's here, that's tokenized. In the tokenizer, the info text is tokenized. So anything you see like a name by itself is a literal that was tokenized. Anything you see as a key value pair is a action that was defined. So this is the name of the action, so name, and this is the value that it parsed. So up here, so here as you can see in the scroll on in the tokenizer. Here it is. This is the action name, and here it is defined here. Parse 0 or more underscore followed by alpha followed by 0 or more a other, and it parses all anything that matches this rule. It parses it. So face matches the rule, info also matches the rule, but it shows the literal info instead of the action name because of this -10 right here. And it does the tokenization. As you can see, the file it's parsing is very large. Well, this is what, Chinese? Which one did I parse? I parsed the Latin. The Latin file was very large. But look at Chinese file is much smaller. Yeah. So the Latin file is 2400 lines. So here's the abstract syntax tree. Let me see if I can find the beginning. And this parser generator was created by me, guys. I created it because when I was coding, I found a lot of situations where I needed to write a parser, and I hated the tedious work of writing a parser by hand, so I created a parser generator to speed up my workflow. So here, abstract syntax tree is called analyzation, and this is the line number, and this is the parent. So info line is parent to key value pair, which is parent to name, which is parent and string. And so info line has a list of key value pairs, as you can see. So the name, face, the string value, much like name, size, the number 32. As you can see, which one is this? This is let me use Latin. And by the way, guys, giving credit, music by Koyuchi Shamisen Beats. Okay, the Latin file is so large, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the Chinese file, which is so smaller. Paste. Alright, okay, and okay, Chinese. There we go. Much smaller, a lot less things. So you can see if I parse, let me increase the font, parse that text, and then go back here. So much smaller file now. Yeah, so if we go, let's go to the beginning of analyzation. There it is. So if you see info line, name, face, string, notation, and if you come here, you'll see the info, face, notation, right? And it's right here. So if you come here, info line, info, list of key pairs, new line. And as you can see, the value is showing this, which is saying, oh, string number. If I don't want this, I could change it. If I don't want this, I could say, okay, I don't want to see that. I could come here inside of object point, can add value, and let's say I can remove string and remove number, and I can come generate again. Since this is an example, I want these included. It's going to generate in my output folder because I didn't specify an output. So it's going to generate here. It's going to generate this file. So it's going to override that file. So it generates. It generates. Let me compile that file. Oh man, let me just write it. GCC parser.c. Okay, that's weird. Is it the right file? Let me check. Refresh. No. What file does it output? Oh, oh, it's this file. My bad, guys. Because I put a name. It has a name. Here it is. So my bad. It has this. So emp font parser.c. So it generates the C code. You have to compile it. And once you compile it, you run it. Chinese.fnt parse the same way, and as you can see, it uses value. It uses value instead of number, but it looks like there's some error going on because I wonder why that error is there. Oh, I see. I know why. Okay, so it's printing value, but value is a high-level abstract tree, and it should be printing the value. So if you're using the API and extracting it, it will extract the value, but it should have been printing the value here. I think that's a bug in the print, but it should be printing the value there. But if I include the number as well, it's going to include them as like a child of value. So generate again and compile and run, and as you can see, you have value and then you have this as a child. So by controlling what you include or what you exclude, it controls the controls the output. I think isn't there a setting I can use? I think, let me see. Let me see something. I want to test something out. Let me remove this and click this, hit generate. Clear. No, still don't show. How about I put that? It generates. Let's see. Compile. Run. No. Yeah, that's a bug that should be fixed. I believe it's not showing, right? Because this is not a token. This is a token, so it's showing its value. But it's not showing this because the value for this, because it's not a token. But there is an option for it to generate the value for non-token nodes. But I guess that's something that's, because it used to show it. That's something that needs to fix, and it will fix in the next update. Let me add that to it. So there is a public GitHub for the parser generator. It's called parser generator tool, public PR, public. Let me create an issue for that. New issue. Non-terminal nodes value doesn't print if there is no token. There needs to be an option in the tokenizer, in the app generator that tells it to print the value of the syntax nodes, not the children hierarchy. Yeah, so that's something I'm going to have to fix when I'm doing the next update for parser generator. I need to update the documentation, it's grossly outdated and I need to fix that, but that's not my priority right now. Let me put this back the way it was. Okay, so I've created, I'm going to need this for some more parsers. So I did a lot of things, right? So I did that. So the next, I actually want to parse the information into some structures. Whew. Yeah, so I'm gonna need to do that, and yeah, so this is where I'm at. Okay, so close off. So I have an asset system, and in that asset system right now I support texture atlas. So the texture atlas, I create a texture atlas for the text fonts, the BMP fonts, but I'm realizing that I'm going to need some more advanced, because if I look at the texture atlas for the fonts, okay, I know where each texture is, the Latin PNG or whatever, Chinese PNG. There is I'm going to need to import these guys, like the font information, and this is like another layer of things. And I'm gonna need like one function that handles it. Okay. Alright, this is what I'm going to do. Let me go back to this. I'm gonna re-export this. I'm gonna remove the extension. Let me save. So I just removed the extension. Okay, so they don't have extension anymore. Okay. Good. I'm gonna need a the same parse atlas will work for it, but I'm gonna need a BMP parser on top of it. So how should I do this? Let's see. So what do I want? So what I'm gonna have a function, right? Instead of like add entity, I'm gonna have add text, and then I'm gonna have the text batch. I'm gonna have like the exposition, but like when it comes to text, like the sprite uses the center position. The sprite batch uses the center position. For text, there's no center position. It's like left caret or right caret, and you write. So let's call it add left to right text, or LTR. Add left to right text, and this is the caret position. So this is a caret X, caret Y, and then the line height, or the font size. So font size, should I use font size? I could use line height or font size. I think I'll use like font weight. Should I do that? I think the font weight will use the default size the text was generated, which was font 32, and I can shrink it by giving it a value less than 1. Error value greater than 1. Let's call it scale then. Let's do scale. is you want to use X width and size, or width and size according to the window. You'll just do scale and use the font, and then the text, which can be hello world. Alright. So this is what I'm going to do. So for this is a problem now. For the sprite batch, no, is this a problem? No. The current sprite batch that I have deals with text grabbing the region and pasting it. Well, with this case, you can grab multiple regions, because I can put a text, a Latin text, a Cyrillic text, a Korean text, a Chinese text in one single string, and each of those are coming from a different atlas. So what was it? This sprite batch, is it here? No, I think it's in entity. This can't work. So I have to create something that's not entity, because this is called entity batch. So the thing is, I made this object level because I thought I was going to use this for text as well, but no, it looks like I didn't need to make it object level. I could let the code stay as it was, because here I put this. Upgrade. I think I have to go ahead and create something called, I was thinking either create a new file, call it text, let's say text, or I can create something here and call it text entity, text. I think I might have to do some renaming here. Case rename it and call it sprite, because the name entity should covers everything, no? It covers sprites, covers text, covers anything in the game. So it's called an entity. That sprite is just a rectangular image, which text has, but text has a lot more stuff. What did I do? Okay, let's put it back the way it was. I'm gonna use text. So for each character, I'm gonna need a struct, right? I'm gonna need a struct that tells me the texture region. So I'm gonna need basically, is it this from asset? I'm going to need the texture region that it's referring to, and I'm going to need the text, so it should be the character code. And then it will have some other stuff. So this will be text. What name could I use? Yeah, so when I entered the text, it loops through the string and assign the card information, and then I'll pass the necessary information. So it will pass the region, it will know the region and then go and find the code, and then it needs to know how to position the code based on where it is in text, based on the keyring rules and the advancement rules and stuff like that. It's a lot of stuff. So it's a lot of stuff. It needs to be done. Yeah. As I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be back shortly. I hope you're enjoying the stream. My apologies. I do know that was a extremely long break. So let me get some music going. Excuse me. My computer is moving a bit jittery. Stream is slowing down my computer, so I'm hoping to accomplish a lot during this stream. Honestly, I have about 2 hours left. Let's see. I hope you can hear me fine. Should check my audio. Testing 1, 2, 3. Let me check my audio. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm good. Okay. What is this? Music by Koyuchi Shamisen Beats. Check out his YouTube channel. It's music, lovely music. Shares his music for free. I am really grateful because having a nice background music while you're coding is on stream is really good. Let me try something new that I haven't tried before. I tried this one. This one was released 2 days ago. Sorry for my slow computer, guys. OBS seems to be taking up a lot of CPU now, even though it's running on my GPU. So if anyone knows how to, make the system run better with OBS, drop a comment down below. All right, we're rock and roll. Okay. I think I don't need to worry about the direction of the text right now because I don't know if I'm gonna need harf buzz or I can make it work without it. So for now, let's focus on this. And let's see. Let me ask my assistant for his opinion. Sprite, Tech Squad. I just feel like that name just doesn't cut it. Where did the name Sprite come from? I can't believe that's where it came from. I never knew, but that's shocking. It literally means sprite? That's crazy. So who thought of that being a good idea? I just think like they couldn't come up with a name for textured rendering images on the screen, so they just say sprite. Oh man, I don't know who came up with that idea, but I just think that's a weird name. But it's like, I don't know, maybe I should go with a more literal name. So I'm rendering things like I want like a simple quad. I like render quad, but it just, I don't know, seem more like a verb. I like visual. It's called visual region. and visual text. I think I like these. Yeah. I like it. So let me do some renaming, refactoring. I can't refactor. Not the files as well. Damn. Alright, let me manually do it. This is where Visual Code kind of falls short. It doesn't have a great refactoring system. That's why I still sometimes consider creating my own text editor. I think the text editor with the best refactoring system I've ever seen is the Eclipse text editor for the Java language. It was flawless. But now, I don't know. Eclipse is a shadow of itself now. It used to be the #1 text editor for Java, for Android development. At one point I used to use Eclipse for C programming, but now, I don't know. Now the website look like crap. It's a shadow of itself. Oh, they improved it because it wasn't like this the last time. But it's still a shadow of itself. Maybe someone purchased it or something. Anyways, let me do this manually. I'm gonna call this visual rect. And therefore this is gonna be called. I probably should do it. Oh, that makes sense. I need the files to change. I need the files to change too. Say it didn't change the files? Oh, I have to change those manually. See guys, I like using good naming. I don't like to just pick a random name and just call it a day. I like actually using a good name, and I think using good names, it actually have this effect on me that makes me like admire my code. I don't know why, but that's why I put so much effort in trying to find a good name. Okay, that's updated. Alright, so I renamed this Visual Rec. And I have the batch. I think this could be renamed Create Visual Rec Batch. So let's rename this. Let's rename this. Oh, crap, I just realized something. I have to choose one pattern. Either I put the name in front or I don't put the name in front. So I'm gonna put the name in front. Yeah, so let's put this back the way it was. Because this is the main name, and then destroy batch, create batch. Oops, my bad. Is there a way to undo that? Ah, boy. How did this happen? Damn it, man. Alright guys, if I really want to finish this, I need to go faster. Okay, I'm gonna go faster. Okay, so let's do this. For now, copy the code. Change everything visual rect to visual text. Let's change this to visual rect. Batch max default size. Visual text. Okay, don't need that there. Okay. Give me a second, guys. back. Sorry I missed your comment there, Dark Schneider. I think it's cool that you're testing out Vulkan 1.4. Appreciate the comment. Okay. So, getting back to this. Oh guys, I am using a single monitor, but I hope that I can stream from 2 screens very soon. That way I can have the text window, the chat window up, so if anyone message me I'll be able to see. But now bear with me if I miss your messages. Bear with me, alright? Okay. So let's see what we're doing here. Okay. So we have refactored our code, creating separation of purpose. We need to create a parser. Well, we have a parser, but we need an API for the parser. So here's the parser program for the BMP font. I need that. So before I even, yeah, I need that. Let me see. How do I use Parse Atlas? How do I use this? Let's see. I use it in asset, and I use it to get the defines. No, so I have a texture atlas. So we're gonna have it might not be wise to keep this here. It's probably gonna be better to define it somewhere else and import it here, but for now this will have to work. Let's call it BMP font atlas or font map. Let's call it maybe font map. BMP font. Let's use this. It's going to have a texture atlas, but it's going to have call it atlas, font atlas, type def struct asset BMP font map. No, I don't want to call it atlas. I want to call this map. And right here I will have the, let's call it language map. Alright, and in the language map, let's call it language map buffer or array. Says in the language map array, we're going to have the language map, I call it the buffer, our maps. It's not going to be a lot. I like this better. Count. Areas. Then we're gonna have the language map. Language map, constant car, the name, which is the language. Let's see. Trying to check if I have a message. Is there any way I can pull this window out to the side or some out of OBS? I don't know. Let me hide the fact that I only have 3 views. Okay. How do I pull it out? I was wondering if I could pull it out of OBS. Bear with me. So what I'm doing, I'm building a C structure to store these guys. Chinese because that's a small file. So I want to store the language, which is this name. I don't think any of these are going to matter. I want the character list. So let's do a set character list. Call it character list, just like down here. Let's call this language list. Could shorten it and call it lang list. So I'm gonna have a character list. And I'm going to have a key trainings list. This can be a lot. I don't think it will ever be more than 65,000. So I'll just use that. So we got the character list. And from this we got the, let's also make the kerning list. Shows the complexity of rendering from a texture atlas. Rendering text. Okay. So a character has an ID, which as I can see is a very large number. ID. It has, I don't know the exact size of these. I don't think the X and Y is going to be large. So, and guys, the reason why I'm being so specific to the size of the int is, remember, these things are being allocated. So if I can reduce the amount of memory that is being allocated, then I should. Because if I just ignore that and just, let's say, use 32-bit for everything, I might end up creating a program that doesn't run well because it's using too much memory. So I have to try, because remember, I'm going to allocate over 1,000 of these. So these 2 bytes that I'm shaving off by using a 16-bit integer instead of a 32-bit integer adds up a lot. So that's why I know that I was mentioning using an 8-bit. I know that this is still gonna work out to either a 16-bit or a 32-bit because of padding. So I have to create something like packed here, but I won't, because when you do that, the memory access is slower. So I'll keep it at 8 bits, and then if I add more stuff, then it uses up the reserve space. But it does count, right? It does count. Right. Okay, so this is an int. I wonder if the offset could be negative. I don't know. I mean the X and Y. I wonder if it could be negative. I really don't know. It doesn't look like it. Offset. Give me a second. Just fixing something here. Okay. set, and I think advanced is also negative. I think I saw negative in 16x advanced. And I know for a fact I will not need page and I will not need channel. I don't even know what channel is for, but I won't use it. And I know for a fact I won't need page because when generating my bitmap fonts, I ensure they all generate on a single page. So I won't need this. Let's do kerning. For that, I'm gonna need one with kerning. Does this have kerning? I wonder if kerning only exists for like the Latin languages. Okay. So let's do kerning. Oh yeah, so yeah. These are the codes. So yeah, first 32, second, and then I'm gonna do 16 amount. Yep, and that's it. The amount is not even a lot. Is that normal? Could I drop this down to 8? Who knows? Okay. So I created the kerning, the character, then the kerning list, the character list, then the language map, which has the character list and the kerning list. I think I could just call this language. Could call it key as well. ID. Then let's call this language list. And I use 8 because it's not going to be a lot of languages. I can just call this language. Say how we're going to have the atlas, right? And then we're going to have the language. Let's just call it. Should I call it BMP fonts? I don't like using S in my name if it's not, you know. I'm gonna call it just BMP font. I could call it BMP font texture atlas. Yeah. Let's call it BMP font. And add it to this. Set BMP font Okay. We created a new asset, which is BMP font. So is there a Unicode? Yes. These are not implemented. I think sound is like one of the last thing you implement in a game that you're developing. BMP font. What do you want to call it? Texture fonts. I'm just gonna keep the name BMP fonts. Didn't I use this in something? So for detail of the config path, we're going to also need, this is for I think I need to rename this to a better name. How many languages do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna put 7. Put 6 plus 1 because I'm using no terminator. You might say, oh, it's crazy to use that, but I think it saves 4 bytes or a few bytes, and to create a byte to say count. And I want this struct to be as simple as possible. Okay. So I do need this. And I'm only checking the first one. So before so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna parse the atlas before I load the texture. So I parse the atlas, and once I parse the atlas, I will know how many languages, because each region would specify to a different language, and then I can do a quick count of the language. Count is equal to 0, and I say 4 equals 0, I is equal to, oh, or I could say I'll set max font languages should be less than or equal to you know what, let me rename this. Okay. Oh, never mind. It was correct. I was thinking my brain wasn't braining. Okay. Okay, it should be less than, and what I'm going to do is, if not if this is no, not that. If I count something, I'm gonna do long count, else I'm going to break from the for loop, meaning it's null. And then here I'm gonna check if long count is not equal to this guy. SDL log error 0. I'm gonna say assets, object, asset, object. Same must provide the font specification file for each of the languages in Atlas, which does make sense. So once I confirm all of that, then I load the texture Atlas. So there's one more thing to do. Load language. use a simple parse function like this. I'm gonna, so if I go gonna have this guy. Let's call it Ars language. Scarlet language and done. Parse language. What's going on with the editor? See, it's not working. Then what I'll do is I'll see, because we're not using Atlas anymore. We're using font, and font has an Atlas. So drop font here. And I'm gonna set. Right, so that's it for this asset. So I'm going to come in parser. a function. I like to call it BMP or font. Whatever. Let's not make this thing complicated. I'm gonna duplicate this file. Parse language. Oh, I could pass. I could pass the amount so I don't have to check again. Okay, let's do this. Let's go long array or long buffer. I think I would love to use like I was thinking like an arena, but I'm not gonna bother. Let's leave that alone for like optimization in the future. Guess not, that doesn't work in all cases. Hi Feedy. So Feed is asking what's the best way to use Vulkan, GLFW, or SDL. Okay, Feedy, so SDL, if you're just starting out, Feedy, sorry, I think your name is Feedy. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. But if you're just starting out in development, you can just use SDL by itself. And the reason why I suggest that is that SDL comes with everything. SDL has its own built-in renderer, and SDL is extremely easy to use. You can pick it up and start using it in less than an hour. Extremely easy. GLFW is easy, but it only provides a window for you. That's all. I don't think it has a renderer. I don't even know if it has a renderer. I think it really just provides a window and that's it. SDL provides everything. SDL renderer is optional, so if you want to use your own custom renderer, that's when you'll use Vulkan or OpenGL. If you're starting out, just use SDL and get your practice with programming and rendering. When you're ready to take on, if you want to take on the task of using Vulkan directly, then you can use Vulkan with SDL and create your custom render. Vulkan is very hard to use. It's not that hard, it's just very tedious to use. And I would say start out with Vulkan 1.3 version, because and the Vulkan team actually recommend that people use Vulkan 1.3 versus 1.2 and 1.1 because you don't have to deal with render objects. It's very complicated, and you can use a dynamic rendering of Vulkan 1.3. So yeah, so that's what I'll say. Start with Vulkan SDL. Start with SDL, the easiest. Just tighten it. Yep, so start with SDL and work your way up. This, I would say, is if you really want to dive in Vulkan programming, make sure you have the foundation first. Like using SDL and just using a ready-made render and just have the foundation, and then you can go into Vulkan and you can code it directly. You can also use VkForge. This is a tool I've practiced using Vulkan directly, and I just did not like how tedious it is. It's not that hard once you understand each part of Vulkan. Let me start my music back. But to answer your question, once you understand Vulkan, you realize it's not that hard. First, you create the instance. Then you create the surface. And the surface is provided by the platform, which you can use SDL. You can use SDL to provide the surface for you. There are other libraries like Raylib, G, GLFW also provides a surface. You get your surface, then you create your swap chain. You create your swap chain, all right? And then you have to have at least one pipeline that you're going to create, and this and then the pipeline doesn't need to do anything. It can be a simple pipeline with a fragment shader that output the color, right? So you can out color equal, Vic 1001. So a simple shader that render your screen. And you don't even need to output a color because in your draw command, you're going to need to create your command buffers. And then in the draw command, you're going to send a draw command. Before you send the draw command, you have to set the viewport, and you will set the clear screen. And here you can set the clear color. So once you understand the basic, Vulkan ain't that difficult. The only problem is it's tedious. It's like thousands of code, well, not literally thousand, but it's a lot of code to write just to do one thing. And a good place to this is a good Vulkan tutorial. Here it is. It explains a lot of things. However, this one, it doesn't support Vulkan 1.3, right? It uses the old style, which is using render targets, which is much harder to learn. If you want Vulkan 1.3, there's a lot of examples on the internet. There's this guy called Sas. Is it Sa? Yeah, this guy. The problem I have is that his tutorials can be a little bit complicated, hard to understand because he writes it in C++ and it can be hard to understand. But he has a Vulkan 1.3 tutorial somewhere. Can't find it. So basically, why Vulkan 1.3 is easier, Vulkan 1.3 is easier than the previous versions is because of dynamic rendering. And in dynamic rendering, no render pass is needed. So you do not need to create a render pass. You do not need to create frame buffers. You do not need to pass a render pass to your pipeline when creating a pipeline. And there's one more caveat. You need to pass, I think it's the VK rendering info. You need to pass this to your pipeline. So yeah, it's just tedious. That's the only issue with Vulkan because you're doing so much yourself. It's a lot of code writing. It's extremely tedious, and that's what led me to create VkForge. So VkForge it's not a framework. It doesn't try to force you to write a certain way. It doesn't limit you in what you can do. It's just, you could call it a library, but it's not even a library. It's just a code synthesizer, basically. It generates all the Vulkan boilerplate code upfront, so you can get started writing what you need with Vulkan. You can tell the generator not to regenerate specific files, and then you can customize those files how you want and write what you want in those files. So it's like here I can tell it okay, don't regenerate this file. Don't regenerate the VkForge utils file and you write what you want, or you can write additional functions. There is room for improvement. What is going on? Let me try and undo what I did here. Didn't undo properly. Yeah. All right. So yeah. So VkForge is something I create that it generated the boilerplate code for me really fast. So it generated a lot of code, and it's something. It's still a work in progress. So SDL, then Vulkan. That's what I say. If you just want a game and it's a 2D game, SDL. If you want to write a 3D game, then you would need Vulkan. I'll say use Vulkan over OpenGL because Vulkan is the new thing right now, right? OpenGL is old school now. Okay, let me get a music going here. Music by Koyuchi Shamisen Beats. My computer is moving a bit slow, guys, and I'm going to have to end the stream soon because it's getting late. But next stream, yeah, join me again next stream, but I'm not gonna end exactly right now, but I might end in the next 30 minutes. Let me try this one. I've never listened to this one. Ooh, my computer's starting to move a bit slow. Anyway, let's resume. The music should start playing soon. Okay, so to recap what I'm doing. So what I've done, let me recap because the stream is really long so far. I don't know how long I've been streaming. It's probably 3 hours. I don't remember. I think I started streaming around after 6. I'll probably reach 4 hours of stream now. Okay, so let me recap what I'm doing.
On your website.
So I've created a atlas of font bitmap font textures. All right. So this is free texture packer, and these are the bitmap fonts, and I have combined them into a single atlas. So when I load it into the graphics GPU, the GPU only loads one image. That is for performance. And I created the bitmap fonts using Hyro. I loading the font, I put in the text that I want. I set the distance fields because I'm going to be using the sign distance field method to render the text, and I generate, and I ensure I generate only one page. Then Hyro creates a font specification file that allows me to know exactly where each font is, and it tells me how to render the fonts. And an example of that file is this. So this file is generated by the Hyro app. So it tells me, it gives me this, I think it's this part, the X and Y offset, tells me exactly where in the individual font texture the fonts are. Gives me the ID of the fonts, right? I think it's this part. And then it tells me how to render it, which is this part. It says whenever you render this font, put it at -8, -2, advanced 32 pixels, whatever. And it has some advanced positioning information called a kerning, where special two characters look better if you render them closer to each other or further from each other. And this is what the kerning information is for. So I have the texture atlas, all right? I have the texture atlas already. If I look here, I have the texture atlas already. So this is a texture with all the fonts, and this is a texture atlas mapping. I already have a parser for this, but now what I'm doing is that I'm creating a parser for the font files. I already created the parser for it. I wrote it in my custom parser generator language, and here's the parser I wrote for the BMP font file, and I use my parser generator to generate the C code for the parser. And this is the C code. You're not going to understand it, but because it designed it like a program. It's like the parser is like a virtual machine, which is this code. It's a virtual machine, VM, and this is the parser program that defines the language that I'm parsing. So I already have that. So now, and I already tested it out here so that I know the parser is working. So now what I need to do is I need to extract the information from the abstract syntax tree into my C objects. So I design a C object just now on stream, and I call it the asset BMP font, which has the texture atlas, which I already have a working system for, but this is a system I'm developing now for the language, which is just the fonts format file, which is have the character information and the kerning information, and I'm building that here. So this function right here is the API to my parser generator. So that's what I'm doing right now, just to recap. So this needs to change, and this would be so if I go into this file, so this is the code that was generated by my parser generator. So if I go in this file and I scroll all the way down, I look for the program, and this is the program. So this is what I need for this program. Oh, I need to put this file in the CMake because this file needs to compile. BMP font parser program. So I'm planning to redesigning my parser generator in the future, where you don't have to manually copy the program. I'm planning to redesign it to have a more sleeker design. So I just need to copy this and I'm good, and put the extern because it's defined in another source file. Alright. Oh, remove this because this is from the other one. Now I'm gonna use this. So this is how it works. So it takes the program and run it through the virtual machine, and it just parses based on what's in the program. So I have one virtual machine and I can have several programs for different programming languages. You can read up about my parser generator on my website, but please note that this is very outdated. I have a version 4.0. This is very outdated. A lot of these things have changed. And also note that the link to the parser generator has been temporarily removed, so if you go on a link you won't find it. Oh, I actually found it, surprising. But oh, you can find it with the link, you just won't find it in the search. Okay, but the reason why I hide it is because I'm having issues with itch.io. So until that resolve, I won't put it back. Alright, let me continue. Alright, so I'm gonna need this, guys. So I'm gonna allocate this up front. Yeah, I'm gonna need it. So I have to allocate it from now on. So SDL malloc. Times count, and let me just ensure that I didn't pass garbage, which I shouldn't have passed garbage. I'm just going to clear out the buffer, name set, long buffer 0. And being a C developer for many years, I've come to have some pain points with C that I wish could fix. But the thing is, in C it cannot be fixed because C as a language has to maintain backward compatibility. So you need a new programming language, and there has been options out there like Zig and Odin, and I like those two languages, but it just doesn't do it for me because while I want a new programming language, I don't want to be forced to rewrite code that I have in C or rely on bindings. I want a new programming language that is new and doesn't have the pain points of C, but at the same time compatible with C. So that's a language that I am creating. Right now the name is Azen, but the name is definitely going to change. I'm not going to keep that name. Yeah. So I create that, and now we need to loop through. So we need a for loop. Right, so we need a for loop, and I'm going to drag these. All of this is going inside the for loop. Alright, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna load each text. So, and the path is here. So I'm gonna get the text size and text. Oh, there was a bug in my previous code that I didn't realize, but now I realize, because in parse atlas this is an allocation, but I don't deallocate it. So I'm leaking memory here. So at the end, before I exit, I need to free it. So SDL3 text. So this is an allocation, and then I do my parsing using this function. So this function parses the text using this program. Basically parses it like this. So we're going to use that as a guide. I actually wanted to finish all of this in this stream, but I just don't have enough time. We don't care about tokenization. Alright, this is where we're at. So let's do this. I don't care for this information. I do think that maybe the font size is important. I don't know. I honestly don't know if the font size is important. So we'll parse here. This check, this assert that we actually parsed. I'll leave that for now. So what information do we want? Let's see. Let me also look at this. What information do I want? Do I want anything here? Oh, we have line height. I think this is important information. Let me go back to assets. I think I can delete this. Parsing a language, or that's actually important information. I think I need to know the line height. I think I need to know all of this. I think this is needed. I think these are needed under common. Line height, base, scale W, and scale H. Let me see. Oh, okay. 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 Okay, so that's the only thing I care about. The where's file name? File name is that page. I care about this. Okay. Do I care about the size, the font size? Actually, I don't. I generated everything at font size 32, so I don't need to store it. What about stretched H and padding? All of these uses the same information, same padding, same stretch H, so I don't need to store any of that. Everything is the same, so I don't need to store any of those. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to grab. So the first thing I need to grab is this guy. Line height, and if I look in the parse information, it's going to be in command line. So that's the first thing. Let's do this. I feel like I want to do something like this. Cool. So I'm gonna do command line here. So I'm gonna look for a key called command line. From that, I'm gonna look through its children, because it has a list of KV pair, command line, and a list of KV pairs. So I'm gonna look for children size. Then KB period. Children. I just start. Yeah. Oh, I got caught by this. Ha ha ha. Yeah, this is one thing people don't like in C. Okay. So in KV pair, you're going to always have a name most of the time, but the other one can either be a number or a string. But I should know, right? I'm going to know. Alright, so. Or I don't even have to know. But yeah. There's a way I can extract this value without knowing whether or not this is a string or number, but for now I'm going to go with the assumption because there's nothing else. Right? I will never have a case where a line height is a string. Right? At least I don't expect it. So how do I want to do this? I get KV pair and so I get KV pair. Give me a second, guys. Okay. Wow, this is hard to parse because like there's no guarantee that line height is the first one, base is the second one, even though it's printed like this, because I've seen I generate something and like base is not there, and in other cases it's there. So it's like there's no guarantee. So I have to do this dynamically. So how will I do this? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a function. I'm going to call it load command line values. I'm going to pass into it the current language. I could just call it line. Pass it into the current language and the node. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna get the name. So I'm gonna get the name. Hey, we got number and string, right? And I'm gonna grab the name. Oh, I need this. What's this again? AST. So we get the name. Oh, and this is coming from this. This is where the root node comes. Check if I have a name, it's allowed to be missing. So if I have something, or if it return null, so it won't throw error if it's missing because it's allowed to be missing. But if it's not missing, then I need the value. So I have a function for that, I think. A string value. Extracting must be less than heritage. Oh, I used that. Okay. Okay. Because I don't want to deal with allocating strings. Let me see something. I use 64. I think I just call it car, right? Yeah. A reminder. Update the other one. Okay guys, thank you for tuning in. I'm ending the stream here. Catch me again next stream. Alright. Guys, I just realized my mic was off the entire time. So Peep Die, I did answer your question, but I did not realize the whole time my mic was off. Crazy.